let's take a look at the top stories in headlines. President Hichilema leads national mourning of late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Government dispels the rumours of Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa's resignation. Felix Kahangi acknowledges Information and Communications University's role in jet sphere. In international news, over 300,000 affected by heavy rains and floods in southern China. And on the sports front, Cooper Queens is set for 10-day pre-WAFCON camp in Morocco as Häuptle names final squad. With the news in detail, my name is Malwa Eric J. Wanamjende. President Hichilema has lifted the national mourning period declared in honor of the late 6th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. In his address, he thanked business owners and the private sector for their patience and solidarity during the mourning. He stated that an agreement was made with the Lungu family on Sunday, 16th June 2025, to repatriate the late president's remains on Wednesday, 18th June. However, the body did not arrive despite South African armed forces preparing a guard of honor. He apologized to President Ramaphosa and the people of South Africa for the inconvenience caused. President Hichilema reaffirmed that Edgar Lungu, as a former head of state, deserves to be buried in Zambia. He warned against lawlessness and urged citizens to remain peaceful and united during this period.
Chief Mumbi, our Foreign Affairs Minister, the Secretary to the Cabinet, and all others involved in the search for a reasonable, inclusive, and amicable resolution over the unfortunate impasse relating to the state funeral. We express sincere gratitude to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the people of South Africa for their exceptional cooperation and indeed compassion. We acknowledge those citizens, including business owners, whose operations have been affected during this difficult time. We thank you for your resilience, patience, solidarity, and calmness during this time. As you are all aware, our government has made numerous efforts to engage the family and representatives of the late president in order to reach consensus in this matter. By last Sunday, the 15th of June, a mutual understanding was achieved and expressed through the joint press briefing held in South Africa. This breakthrough brought relief to the nation, and we were prepared to receive the remains of the late 6th Republican President on Wednesday, 18th of June. It was agreed that this was to be followed by programs that would have culminated in a dignified burial on Monday, the 23rd of June. By virtue of this positive development, we extended the mourning period by another 9 days, and we began to fulfill all of our commitments towards the state funeral with full honors. Yesterday, June 18th, the people of Zambia were prepared to receive the remains of our former president, but were surprised by the family's reversal of the agreed course of action. At our request, the South African government prepared extensively with military honors mounted by the South African Defense Force, who did so in vain, as the former president's body was not availed by the family for repatriation to Zambia. For this unfortunate situation, we extend our sincere apologies to President Ramaphosa, the government, and the people of South Africa. Fellow citizens, our country cannot afford a state of indefinite mourning. We've done everything possible to engage the family of our departed 6th Republican President, and we've reached a point where a clear decision has to be made. Given these circumstances, I therefore wish to inform the nation that as of the end of today, the 19th of June 2025, this particular national mourning period is officially over. This will allow the country to begin to return to some normalcy. Mr. Lungu was not only an ordinary citizen, but our 6th Republican president. While we recognize that he belongs to a family, he also belongs to the nation of Zambia. It is therefore correct that our 6th Republican president should be buried in Zambia with full honors and not in any other nation. In the meantime, we urge our citizens to maintain calm and orderliness.
The government has dismissed as false the social media reports alleging that Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Patrick Kangwa, has stepped down from his position. In an official statement issued today, Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary, Mr. Tabo Kawana, clarified that the claims are baseless and untrue. He stresses that there is no justification for Mr. Kangwa to resign and described the circulating claims as deliberate misinformation intended to mislead the public and create unnecessary anxiety. Mr. Kawana advises the public to disregard the false claims and cautioned against the spread of unverified information online. He also urges security agencies to pursue individuals responsible for peddling such falsehoods, warning that spreading fake news poses a risk to national peace and future and security. The government reiterates its dedication to open communication and reassured citizens that any official updates will be issued through trusted and authorized platforms.
That started circulating on social media from last night through to this morning and getting stronger this morning that suggests that the Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. Patrick Kangwa, has resigned. Government wishes to dismiss rumors circulating on social media to the effect that the Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Patrick Kangwa, has resigned. The rumors are totally false. Mr. Kangwa is currently in office and working, and there is absolutely no cause for him to resign. I wish to take this opportunity to appeal to all citizens to dismiss the rumor with the contempt it deserves. I also wish to ask the law enforcement agencies to curb the circulation of false information, especially at a time when the country is in mourning. I also want to close by appealing to citizens to desist and resist the temptation of wanting to post false information or disinformation on social media, as this has consequences. There is absolutely no need to make such claims, knowing fully that what you are posting and what you are purporting is not correct. So let us take an opportunity to reflect on what it is that we want to do with the cyberspace and avoid pitting ourselves against the law and thereby putting ourselves in trouble. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Felix Kahangi, a member of the National Head Teachers Association of Zambia from Copperbelt Province, has acknowledged the vital role played by the Information and Communications University in supporting the success of the 2025 Regional JETS Fair. Speaking at Mtanda Boarding Secondary School in Northwestern Province, where the fair is currently underway, Kahangi said the university's involvement is helping advance science and technology education in the country. He added that the event has brought together innovative students' projects that reflect growing creativity and technical skills, and praised the fair for inspiring the next generation of engineers and scientists.
Yeah, my name is Felix Kahangi. I am head teacher and member of the National Head Teachers Association of Zambia, based on the Copperbelt. I am currently staying in Chingola. I traveled to Northwestern Province today, the 19th of June, and specifically to Mtanda Boarding Secondary School for a purpose of holding elections for the Head Teachers Association of Zambia for the position of provincial dean that actually fell vacant for Northwestern Province. But it was apparently inspiring that when I arrived at Mtanda Boarding Secondary School, it coincided with the regional Jets Fair for Northwestern Province. And having gone through the stands and the projects that the children have actually displayed, it's quite amazing that there's quite a lot of skill, a lot of talent that is really going on in terms of innovations in this Jets Fair that Northwestern is showcasing. And it was gratifying that I had an interaction actually with one of the smallest exhibitors at this fair by the name of Kalituta, a girl of 9 years coming from one of the community schools in Solwezi, who was actually showcasing on how she was doing some sausage, some sausage from the local sorghum, yes, local sorghum. But other than that, I think it has just been interesting to see the children are excited. The projects that they've displayed are quite good, and realizing that this is the potential that we are with the change of our curriculum from where we are to the competence-based curriculum. I think we are in the right direction as a country with the skills that we have seen here. We've seen the children doing the pavers, we've seen the children doing makeup, we've seen children doing tailoring, we've seen children in engineering doing all sorts of other things. So yeah, I think this is the first of its kind amongst the regions that the Jets Fair is taking shape. Northwestern has taken the lead, and I think we have 10 more to go because we have 10 provinces but 11 regions that are supposed to take part in the Jets Fair. So it's important that skills are enhanced from I think a tender age. And the issue of the children not having adequate resource in order for them to do what they're able to do is actually a worrying factor. And I think where we stand now as Ministry of Education, I think we're receiving a lot of adequate support from government. You know, it is free education, and the government is pumping in a lot of money in all the schools, starting from a community school all the way to tertiary education. And we are seeing that there's a lot of support that is coming in. But for a child to be successful, it all has to start with the environment where they are brought up. The homes must get involved. The schools must be there to support. The community must be there to support. We have the corporate social responsibilities that many companies, the corporate world, must be able to come up on board and support. Just like you are doing yourselves as ICU. It's gratifying that you are coming to promote this and bringing it to the world to showcase what these young boys and girls are able to do for themselves. So it's important that we support the talent and we support them in any way possible so that this becomes a reality. Technology has come to stay, and we cannot run away.
While we take our first break, do stay tuned for more of our local stories.
At the Information and Communications University, we're not just educating students, we're shaping the future of Zambia and beyond. With a global perspective, ICU offers cutting-edge programs in information technology, business, humanities, engineering, and education. We combine theory with practical skills, ensuring our graduates are ready for the job market.
Whether full-time or distance learning, our flexible programs cater to the needs of every student, creating pathways for success. ICU is driven by innovation, research, and entrepreneurship.
We empower our students to be leaders and change makers in their industries.
Through strategic global partnership, including collaboration with leading universities such as St. Petersburg State University and others, we give our students a competitive edge on the global stage.
Our graduates don't just earn degrees, they create impact. They are leading the way in ICT, business, engineering, and more, both locally and internationally. Join the Information and Communications University, where your future begins today.
Now, in other news, church mother bodies have expressed concern over the growing number of public statements from both government officials and representatives of former President Edgar Lungu regarding his funeral arrangements. Speaking during a press briefing held in Lusaka, Council of Churches in Zambia (CCZ) General Secretary Reverend Emmanuel Chikoya urged both sides to exercise restraint and avoid provoking one another through constant public commentary. Reverend Chikoya says it is unfortunate that the uncertainty surrounding the funeral of the late former head of state continues to disrupt national stability during a time of mourning. He further reminds the Lungu family that their grief is shared across the country, emphasizing that in African tradition, disagreements are typically resolved after the burial rather than during funeral proceedings. The Church has appealed to both parties to work together in a spirit of respect and unity, assuring the nation that efforts are being made both openly and privately to encourage dialogue and reconciliation.
Collective mourning and respect. In the African culture, and indeed even our own Zambian culture, disputes and challenges are often addressed after the burial, not during the mourning period, which should be marked by respect for the deceased, unity and harmony. We therefore call for the timely and amicable resolution of this matter in a respectful and considerate manner. Furthermore, we note with concern the emergence of insensitive commentary and mockery surrounding the ongoing developments. While the public has the right to express opinions, we caution and advise against turning this solemn occasion into a subject of jokes or ridicule. Scripture reminds us that there is a time for everything, and that is expressed in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. And clearly, this season is a season for...
The Ministry of Education has disbursed over 15 million kwacha in school fees under the Keeping Girls in School and Beyond initiative for Term 1 of 2025. KGS Project Coordinator Willie Caputo confirmed that over 46,000 girls across 93 districts have been enrolled, with more than 20,000 qualifying for fees not covered under the Education for All policy, including boarding, tuition, and exam fees. The program, supported by the World Bank and the Multi-Donor Trust Fund, targets vulnerable girls from social cash transfer households under the broader Joel 2.0 project. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary for Administration Noriana Muneka has urged beneficiaries to take the opportunity seriously and avoid early marriages and teenage pregnancies, stressing education's power to break the cycle of poverty. And Copperbelt Energy Corporation PLC Chief Financial Officer Mutaliam Koka has emphasized the need for strong collaboration between African governments and private financiaries to meet the continent's energy development targets. Speaking during the panel session titled Breaking the Barriers for Regional Transmission at the ongoing 2025 Africa Energy Forum in Cape Town, South Africa, Mr. Mkoka pointed out the African governments alone lack the capacity to fund the scale of investment needed to attract private capital. He urges financial institutions to embrace risk-sharing models to support the rollout of infrastructure critical to regional energy integration. His remarks were highlighted in a statement issued by Lusaka by CEC Head of Corporate Communications and Investor Relations, Verona Kolola. We take another set of breaks. We'll be right back with international and sports news.
That mental health conditions are treatable and recovery is possible. Hi, I'm Ngenia Febamoyo. I'm your host on Let's Talk Mental Health. I invite you all to this show where you freely express yourself, and together we find a solution. For more details, you can contact 0777 93 73 92, and we'll be there to help you find solutions to whatever you're going through.
Widespread damage as rescue and relief efforts continue in the hardest hit areas. Still in international news, at least 16 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli troops near the Netzarim corridor in northern Gaza. The victims were reportedly waiting for food aid when the incident occurred. Details surrounding the circumstances remain unclear, but the area has seen repeated clashes and humanitarian concerns amid the ongoing conflict. Well, getting down to the sports front, Copper Queens coach Nora Häuptle has named a 24-member squad for the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations set for 5th to 26th July in Morocco. The team begins a local camp on 19th June before heading to Morocco for a 10-day international training camp starting 24th June. Foreign-based stars, including Captain Barbara Banda, will join the squad in Morocco after their weekend club duties. Zambia will face Morocco, Senegal, and DR Congo in Group A, with their first match set for July in Rabat. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the Icu TV main news. Let's take a look at the stories that made headline. President Hichilema lifts national mourning of late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Government dispels rumours of Secretary to the Cabinet Patrick Kangwa's resignation. And Felix Kahangi acknowledges Information and Communications University's role in JET's fair. In international news, over 300,000 affected by heavy rains and floods in southern China. And on the sports front, Copper Queens set for 10-day pre-WAFCON camp in Morocco as Häuptle names final squad. Well, that's it for the Icu TV main news. Thank you so much for watching. Please do join us for the news updates right here on Icu TV, that is on Facebook, and IcuTVZM.com on our website. Please do have a lovely good evening. I've been your host or your anchor this evening, Maluba Eric J. Wanamjende.